I have already begun the process of drafting best ball fantasy football teams for 2019, using our quite useful best ball fantasy football tools, and cannot wait to do more. A big part of our idea to launch the NFL 365 package was to aid people who wanted to really attack best ball fantasy football drafts and turn a serious profit. Even before the NFL draft, there is a great opportunity to generate profitable rosters before ADP has a chance to catch up. Access premium NFL coverage 365 days a year with the Roto experts. Season-long draft kits, fantasy football projections, best ball coverage, dynasty rankings, NFL draft coverage, expert chat, betting and much more. Save 10% when you use the promo Amigo at checkout. Learn more here. Philip Rivers. In drafting this early in best ball fantasy football leagues, you are really looking to build a good balance of upside and floor. The quarterback and tight end positions are more stable for best ball purposes the closer we get to the NFL season and are more of an afterthought. However, when drafting this early, there is a lot of extra projection work to be done. Some starters might be out of a job due to the draft or trade, which limits the total number of available starters in a 12-team league. Philip Rivers is a quarterback we know for sure will be starting in 2019 and should be reasonably productive. He can also be drafted later than the first and second tier of fantasy football quarterbacks, even though his season-long floor is so high. I very rarely make a case for safe players in fantasy football, but Rivers really makes sense for my early strategy of embracing the volatility of running back and tight end. Giovanni Bernard. A general theme that you will find throughout my pieces leading up to the 2019 season is that I will be higher than consensus on the Cincinnati Bengals offense. I believe that new coach Zac Taylor will have learned well from his time spent with Sean McVay and that he will have a strictly offensive focus. Taylor will want to score points. The individual pieces of the Bengals offense are good. A.J. Green has at least one above-average season left. Tyler Eifert is an elite red zone weapon while healthy. Tyler Boyd is an excellent slot wide receiver, and John Brown can create space all over the field with his speed. Andy Dalton is not capital G good, but he showed in 2015 that with a perfect storm of talent, he can be serviceable. Joe Mixon really dominated the backfield while healthy last season, but I expect that as part of Zac Taylor's regime change, Bernard will come back into favor in a Theo Riddick-esque role. Available after the 13th round of draft fantasy football best ball drafts, I have loaded up on Gio in my leagues thus far. Chris Godwin. It is no secret that Chris Godwin is a favorite of the fantasy football crowd. DeSean Jackson has returned to Philadelphia and left a starting wide receiver job open for Godwin. The Buccaneers also replaced Dirk Koetter with Bruce Arians, who lead a vertical passing attacking in Arizona that lead to multiple WRs having WR3 or higher value. Godwin is not better than Mike Evans and won't out-target him, but diverting a decent chunk of Adam Humphries and DeSean Jackson's 181 vacated targets to Godwin, even while giving an increased share to the tight ends, gives him a very stable projected volume. There is also some upside that Godwin just runs insanely hot with touchdowns, given the nature of Jameis Winston and a vertical passing offense. For example, J.J. Nelson had 6 touchdowns on 74 targets in 2016 when Bruce Arians was calling the shots for Arizona. In 2015, John Brown had 7 touchdowns on 101 targets and 15.4 yards per reception. That is the role that I expect Godwin to play in the Arians offense, and I expect him to do quite well in that role. Godwin is my most drafted best ball fantasy football player in all of my draft leagues. Jack Doyle. Devin Funchess signing in Indianapolis is definitely a downgrade for both Doyle and Eric Ebron. Most of Jack Doyle's time as a Colt has been spent as a possession-based player. He offers little to no athleticism and nothing after the catch. He was second on the team in targets in 2017 and in 2016, mostly due to attrition. The Colts have just never had another good player to receive targets from Andrew Luck other than T.Y. Hilton in the time that all three have been there. However, average draft position in best ball fantasy football leagues are treating Doyle like a backup blocking tight end. He certainly will not be that. Even if his target projection goes down to 75 or 80 passes, he still has value at a position that really lacks discernible floors of any kind. Finding a tight end who will be able to post scores that hit your lineup in the double-digit rounds is a blessing, and Doyle can provide that. Featured image, photo by Andy Kropa, Envision, AP.